We're delighted to be here today at the Coweta County Board of Education offices with Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Steve Barker. Dr. Barker, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Whitlock.
We are excited about an announcement that you just made. We want to make sure the entire community knows about it, but Newnan High School ranked nationally in U.S. News and World Report. Talk with us about that award.
Well, I'll tell you, Mark, it's quite an accomplishment. U.S. News and World Report annually takes a look at all high schools across the nation. They look at performance in a variety of ways, but one of the things that they key in on is the performance of students on advanced placement, advanced courses, and how your students perform, the number of students that you have participating, and the accomplishments of those students over the course of that year. So this isn't something you apply for. This is something that they look at independent of school districts. So for Newnan High School to receive that recognition is quite an honor.
So they crunch, this international magazine crunches the numbers on, I think I saw more than 21,000 high schools in America, and they determined that Newnan High School is among the top 8% of all those high schools across the nation.
Absolutely. You know, I believe the ranking was 1,300 out of those 21,000, 22,000 schools. Wow. So it's one of those phone calls that you get and emails that you get showing that you've received that kind of recognition. It really means a lot to you. I know the staff and the students and the community over at Newnan High School are very proud of the accomplishment. We recently, at our board meeting this month, recognized some students, faculty members, as well as administration. They're very quick to give recognition to each other. It truly is a community effort, and it's not just unique to Newnan High School. All of our schools, we take great pride in including our community. We take great pride in including all stakeholders, and this is just one piece of recognition that points to the results of those efforts.
Dr. Barker, you've been really keen on making sure that we include all the stakeholders in our community. The recognition by media, U.S. News and World Report, suggests that our school system becomes a more important part of our entire community. U.S. News and World Report, in other words, is not an education magazine. They're talking about things that matter across all segments of our society. Talk about what it means for this community to have an excellent, nationally ranked school system.
Well, it's critically important to the community as a whole. Quality of life, if you look at the research on quality of life in communities, one of the things you'll find is that education, if it's not the top indicator, it'll be in the top 2 or 3. And so it's extremely important that we recognize that we recognize as those who are charged with organizing that education for the community, that we include all of the stakeholders at the table. We're fortunate here in Coweta County that that's been a long-standing tradition. We work very closely with groups like the Development Authority and the Chamber of Commerce. We work to include them and to also hear their concerns and their ideas. You know very well, one of those ideas, Central Education Center, College and Career Academy here in Coweta County, it came about through dialogue between the business community and the superintendent and the board at that time and the school district. So it's important that we all realize the important role that education plays in the community. From that, the local economy grows. Right. So it benefits us for that relationship to be strong, and it greatly benefits those in the economic community for that relationship to be strong. And when a publication like U.S. News and World Report points out that you're accomplishing significant things that nationally and internationally are recognized, it validates our approach.
Yeah. So U.S. News and World Report looked at hard data, and we know that it impacts quality of life, and we know that Georgia has moved to a measure of data more rigorous than ever before and more comprehensive than ever before. How did our school system, how did our high schools in particular, since we're talking about Newnan High, how did we fare in that first broad measure of accountability?
Well, you're referring to the College and Career Ready Performance Index. It's a long-term, we use the initials CCRPI, and the most recent release of those calculations for this year, which are based off of last year's test data, show that all of our schools in Coweta County, our elementary schools averaged higher than the state average, our middle schools collectively averaged higher than the state average, and our high schools several points higher than the state average. And so what it does, again, is it points to the kind of efforts that are being made in our classrooms by our teachers. And I will say that when the door closes and the teacher is with their students, that's where the most critical work that is done in the school system is done every day. And that classroom may not be what first pops into your mind when we say classroom. It could be a standard classroom in one of our schools where students are together receiving instruction on chemistry. Or it could be a student that is attending a college course and receiving high school and college credit through dual enrollment. Or it could be a student who's receiving their classroom instruction at one of our local businesses, working actually in an internship or apprenticeship role, receiving course credit while they learn the craft or skill that they're there to learn. So when we say teachers in classroom instruction, it now means a variety of things, but it is where the most important and critical work that occurs in our district occurs every day. Now, I will say it takes a lot of people to help in that effort. We've got great support staff across the district. All of our employees are committed to ensuring the success of each student. Board of Education is committed to that. And of course, we've already mentioned, we're very proud of the fact that our community very much assists us in that effort. So it's a team approach.
Team approach. Newnan High School, as you mentioned, recognized by U.S. News and World Report. One of those measures was giving students advanced opportunities. You just mentioned dual enrollment. Newnan High, Northgate High, East Coweta High, all very significantly involved in a growing dual enrollment program. Your idea has been to keep innovating so that high school students take the next step even while they're in high school.
Absolutely. Things are changing so fast with technology and with the approach that we take to overall education for students. And if we're not innovating, and if we're not pushing to do things that are new and different, that meet the needs of a generation of students that require and demand different things of us, if we're not making those changes along the way, then we're not producing the quality product that we want to produce. So we try very hard to examine all of the means and measures by which especially high school students can receive their education in a variety of ways. We've got virtual learning now that is a component of what we offer. We've already mentioned work-based learning, dual enrollment, and of course we've got great traditional classroom instruction occurring all across the district. So, but innovation is the key.
Innovation is the key. Dr. Steve Barker, thank you for leading innovation in the Coweta County school system. Thanks for being with us today on The Link to talk about Newnan High School. U.S. News and World Report ranks among the 8% of top high schools in the entire nation. Congratulations, and thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, Mr. Whitlock.
Thanks for being with us today on The Link. You stay tuned. We'll be back with more.
Perfect.